All right, this is Lynn with Lynns Hangouts, and we're here tonight at Sammy's Rockin Island Bar and Grill in Roseville to party with the ever so talented band Rock Skool. And tonight's interview is with Randy Monroe, the man in front of the mic and behind the scenes. So thanks, Randy, for hanging out with us tonight.
Thanks, Lynn. How are you guys doing, huh?
All right, very cool. We are rocking. It's break time, and oh my God, you guys are killing us up. It's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, we're having a fun time tonight, huh?
Yeah, we are too. It's amazing. Just such talent.
It's a nice way to hit the summer off.
It sure is. You're right. Very cool. Very cool. So all your band members are skilled and educated professional musicians. So let's talk about your position in the group and your background. So you're the lead vocalist in Rock Skool and Hot for Teacher.
I do both duties and manage and kind of book a lot of it. So have a lot of fun doing that.
Wow.
Busy.
Well, I bet you are. That's awesome. In fact, you've got quite a few gigs coming up. In fact, Hot for Teacher, July 6th here at Sammy's. So.
Yeah, back at Sammy's with Hot for Teacher. A couple of weeks we'll be up at Strikes at halftime at Strikes in Rockin, and then the following week with Leonard Skinner for their after party at Thunder Valley Casino.
Very cool. Oh man, that's going to be fun. Ooh, don't miss that one. Very cool. So what's your background as far as vocals go?
Vocals. I started singing when I was a kiddo because, well, it's all my mom's fault why I'm a professional musician. When I was 5 years old, I was her date at the Coalfield House at the University of Maryland when she got a job there after my parents broke up. I was the man of the house. My younger sister was 3.5. Anyway, Mom took me on a date night, and we saw the Carpenters. And Karen Carpenter came out with a drum kit right in the middle with her brother John next to her, and swung the mic over and just started jamming and playing. And I was like, Mom, I got to play drums. But we lived in an apartment, so Mom was not going to get me any drums. But what she did do when she came back from Bermuda once was bring me some bongos.
Oh, nice.
That was about 2 years later.
Wow, very nice. So you were hooked.
I was hooked into music. I was hooked into rock and roll.
That's
absolutely.
Awesome. Well, tell me about the vocals, because I know you were classically trained by an opera singer.
I was classically trained by Claudine Spent, who I think is living in Sassoon now, in that area. And yeah, I worked with her, and one of my best compliments is, it's too bad you're so old. And I was about 29 or 30 at the time when I was working with her, and she said, you know, if you'd have started at 16, you'd made a wonderful classical singer. And I said, that's okay, I like rock and roll anyway. So, you know, Pavarotti, God bless him, who Claudine sang with and performed with a number of times.
Wow, very cool, very cool. And so you're skilled in 3 octaves. Did she help you learn that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all working the scales.
Very cool.
Lots of practice.
Very cool. That's why you come across such a good singer. We're so digging it.
That and yelling at kids for a living. You know?
Yes, that's true. You're very right. So how did you acquire your bandmates? They're also talented and skilled.
It all started off years ago with Terry Lauderdale and I. He had an ad for a Skid Row type of singer, and I showed up, and though I could cover a little Sebastian, I wasn't really that tenorish. I'm more of a baritone. So he and I clicked immediately at the audition, and we just started doing this thing, and turned into an original project called Acid Tongue in the Bay Area that got, we did a single called Bolinas that got a lot of airplay, and then one that went all over the place, a remake of Sugarloaf's Green-Eyed Lady.
Oh, very cool.
And then we kind of put that away for a minute, and we started practicing a little bit with some Van Halen stuff, just dinking around with some cover songs, and we sat in with a friend's band one night in Walnut Creek, and the crowd went nuts.
Oh my God.
When we did a little Van Halen, we looked at each other and said, hey, maybe we've got something here.
We got a little niche going on.
We got a little niche,
Very, very cool. I love it. Very cool. Well, and you mentioned a couple songs there. So Rock Skool's musical selection spans 5 generations, starting with the mid-'60s and the British invasion, moving all the way to the modern music of today. So do you have any favorite era that you like to own?
You know, personally, I like them all. But the one era that I like a lot, that kind of got lost in the shuffle, was that grunge era in the 90s. I think there was some really great stuff coming out of that somehow it happened, and it was almost like disco. It happened and it dissolved real quick. And then something happened with production on music in general, where it started turning into this cookie cutter kind of sound. So all the bands became one-hit wonders, and Warped Tour started. No diss against Vans. I love Vans. I'm sporting them right now, and I love Vans. But once this Warped Tour started, this whole idea of this cookie cutter kind of mentality and the huge production sound and what Pro Tools and computers did to everything,
Yeah.
I think the feeling and the analog of it got lost because there are supposed to be mistakes in the music. Every hit that you love and you remember, there's a mistake in that song.
Yeah.
And if they'd had Pro Tools, they'd have fixed that mistake, and it would not sound the same way that it sounds to you now.
Right, you're very correct on that. I know exactly what you mean, and that's what I think the
It
beauty of
starts
live
all
music.
with it starts all with drums and the meter and drums, and sometimes the drums are supposed to speed up and slow down a little bit. That's just the human nature and how we
Right.
hear naturally with our ears.
Right, and then you
So
won't get that
I'm a
with
big
the other.
proponent of analog recording.
Very cool, very cool. Love it. You are a very interesting person. That's in fact, speaking of that, I do happen to know that you're also an environmental activist. Would you like to
would
comment
be.
on that?
Well, I'm an earth and science teacher at a
cool.
National Blue Ribbon and Cal Distinguished Middle School in Walnut Creek,
Wow.
Foothill Middle School. And it's what I teach and what I love. I mean, I grew up as a Boy Scout, and I've been all over the country, and I have an affinity with wildlife, and I just see a big change on the planet, and I'm really worried about the future.
Yeah.
For our children, the children's children, and a few generations from now, as
Right.
we're changing things. I think science is the key to it all, and understanding the data and working with that data. To put your head in the sand is lunacy, and to pretend that some magical power is going to fix it, that's not it. We are the magical power. We
Yeah.
are both.
Yeah, knowledge is power. Very cool. Very cool. Totally agree with you. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to say to your fans and to Lynns Hangouts?
Hey, thanks for hanging out at Lynns Hangouts, and we hope to see you real soon, huh?
I think we will. Thank you, Randy, so much for a wonderful interview.
Peace.
Let's go back and rock.